Part 68. Path to Heaven. Author, Wu Ziyi. Chapter 676. Chapter 676 is here. The old man, the ancient desolate giant cheek carapace, can you be sure to refine it into a shapeshift great art great treasure within a few days? Wei Suo looked at the group's own Jing Jin and the East Monster Subduing Tower, and asked green-robed old man, and his eyes flashed. Before Wei Suo made up his mind, he was ready to take advantage of the artifact refinement in this eastern desolate section. He first refines the planned 11-hand flying sword and the ancient desolate Bai Zi spine shapeshift great art great treasure. The material of the 11-hand flying sword is estimated to be not even damaged by the cultivator of the golden core 4th layer. It is possible to achieve the power of the mystic rank middle grade above the Wei Suo's cultivation base. The shapeshift great art great treasure of the ancient desolate Bai Zi spine is the sharpshift great art great treasure of the great treasure, and the white semiasma of the G. If there is no shapeshift great art like the Wei Suo antiquity ominous fire, even if it is the golden treasure cultivator of golden core 3rd layer 4th layer cultivation base may not be able to withstand it. The key point is that this white semiasma will also permeate on the shapeshift great art great treasure. When it is against the enemy of Lin Taixu will use Annihilation God Spear, and it will definitely be a little troublesome. But now suddenly there is such a top-grade ancient artifact refinement furnace, Wei Suo cannot help but have other ideas. When it was against the Eastern Desolate Sect Master and others, Wei Suo is now, the material of this monster subduing tower is amazingly tough, and there should be no problem with the powerful energy impact of mystic rank high grade. If this material is smelted, plus Heaven's Blood meteoric iron, which is scraped from the Eastern Desolate Sect warehouse, and the Jing gold on your hand, the ranking of the flying sword will probably reach an amazing degree. However, if you want to melt the East Monster Subduing Tower and Heaven's Blood meteoric iron, it will definitely be too late for more than 10 days. And Wei Suo also has the patience to stay for about 10 days at most, and there is no news of Li Ziyi for about 10 days. According to Wei Suo's plan, it is also ready to go directly to Netherworld City. The reason why I give myself a 10-day period is because if I fight Mystic Wind Sect Great Treasure and kill many powerful people of Mystic Wind Sect, it will definitely cause the whole cultivation world to vibrate. When the news may be passed directly to the news. Go to Cloud Spirit Continent and let Ji Ya and others hear it. Wei Suo is trying to make great treasure. Sufficient vibration. The true martial sect young master, Xuanhuan, was masked, but if one mystic wind sect the first senior brother Lin Taixu and many supreme elder all beat, this kind of news, affirmation repression, mystic wind sect many great treasure figure gather to heavenly profound continent northern part, the result of many falls, will definitely cause the whole heavenly profound continent cultivation world sensation, as long as their heavenly profound a continent to cultivator sp irid continent will certainly mention it. According to Wei Suo, there are quite a few merchants who travel to heavenly profound continent and cloud spirit continent on weekdays. Now Wei Suo's lust is with the powerful shapeshift great art and shapeshift great art great treasure on the side of the Annihilation Golden Core and the Township shapeshift great art. But Annihilation Golden Core and Town Day shapeshift great art phase cannot be sustained, the general enemy of course is not worth using, Mystic Wind Sect cultivator body has primordial spirit lamp such shapeshift great art, then kill one, the rest of the Mystic Wind Sect the strong may continue to come. As the car *** war, the enemy time may be very long, so if you want to rely on other shapeshift great art great treasure. This monster subduing tower has the power of mystic rank middle grade and can even be used as the shapeshift great art shield of mystic rank high grade, which is also very useful for Wei Suo. So Wei Suo now thinks for a moment, or decides that if within this 10 days, the giant desolate giant crust shell can be refining a shapeshift great art great treasure, then the rope will be used to melt the monster subduing tower. Used to refine the flying sword, but if there is no shapeshift great art refined into, then use the East monster subduing tower first. As for the flying sword, it doesn't take time to refine it. After saving refined into it, it will take a while to refining it. I actually want to melt a shapeshift great art great treasure that has reached mystic rank middle grade, and you really dare to think that you are bold enough green-robed old man to Weisuo very understanding, here Weisuo so ask, have directly understand his mind, immediately cold hum a surging sound, but we in northern bright city get this head ancient desolate giant claws, extremely rare, anyway, you think well, with the materials on hand to refine, to be within a few days refined into. Estimated powerful energy will not reach mystic rank high grade, but if gather the two materials I want, spend the last half month 1 month to make a good refining. Although it may not be able to withstand the legendary immortal artifact attack, but the annihilation god spear level to the great treasure, I am afraid that it will not be damaged at all, it is useless to play 100 or 200. Weisuo looked at green-robed old man and looked at green-robed old man's current god Se. Weisuo knew that the old man must have planned in the heart how to use ancient desolate to refine the shapeshift great art great treasure. Then Weisuo didn't have any nonsense. He nodded and asked directly, is the other two materials you mentioned difficult to find? Weisuo wants to shapeshift great art is very simple, if the two materials are very rare, then the cable seen now will ancient desolate the material of the giant chelate, so that has not been done shapeshift great art used, such as the fruit is not very rare, then wait until later, after all, Weisuo the day and this ancient desolate giant claws against the enemy, but fully feel any attack and no shapeshift great art to break this head ancient desolate the giant claw defense of helplessness. If there is a strong great treasure to make the opponent's defense shapeshift great art great treasure without the shadow shift great art at hand, it is already invincible. If you can't beat it, you can rely on this shapeshift great art great treasure to hide. If you don't break the opponent, it may be extremely helpless. It is extremely depressed. The two materials are not difficult to find, as long as you go to the great treasure market, you can buy them. Green-robed old man looked at Weisuo and didn't say much. Then keep this monster subduing tower. Weisuo did not hesitate to reach out and recollected the monster subduing tower and the heaven's blood meteoric iron that was about to melt. Then, on the Weisuo storage bracelet, the light treasure was released, and the radiant light covered the entire ninth heaven chi fire stove, but the ninth heaven chi fire stove was directly included in the storage bracelet. Now that heaven burning divine stove doesn't know that they are still in their hands at Lintagzu. If the heaven burning divine stove is also melted, it will be used to refine the flying sword. I don't know what the flying sword looks like. At the same time as the ninth heaven chi fire stove, Weisuo thought of something and couldn't help but swear. I am doing, when I heard the words of Weisuo's, green-robed old man couldn't help but roll one's eyes. This is the East Drought monster subduing tower. He is suspected of material inside. There are 9 cold iron and ancient desolate heavy and so amazing material, and that the heaven burning the divine of material, even if not Hongyu stove gold, is also, and Hongyu Jing gold is almost the level of Jing gold. Light East monster subduing tower, such a thing, spread out, no matter to which pope men are to great treasure, but Wei actually feel that one is not enough, but also want to suo heavening. Divine stove all melted. Dried anchovies inside. When someone else is still outside, he will take his golden core out and refine the annihilation golden core. Weisuo got an action, and let green-robed old man roll one's eyes again. Because Weisuo immediately took out the golden core of Eastern Desolate Sect Master and began to refine the golden core of Eastern Desolate Sect Master into annihilation golden core. Next is the golden core of the Eastern Desolate Sect White Treasure Great Treasure, who was sneaked by mind-devouring bug, and then the golden treasure cultivator of golden battle armor, who was smashed by his men's flying sword. Core. 5 golden cores of Eastern Desolate Sect Golden Core Great Treasure Cultivator, all made by Weisuo into Annihilation Golden Core. Together with the Annihilation Golden Core, which was previously refined with 4 golden cores from White Feather Reverend, Xuanhuan Reverend, Baiji Unkong, and Jinwei Reverend, there are now 9 Annihilation Golden Cores in the hands of Weisuos. 9 Annihilation Golden Cores. This number is already scary. Because the previous White Robe Cultivator was scored by Mind-Devouring Bug, the Golden Armor Cultivator was shattered, and the Green Robed Cultivator and the Old Antique were attacked by the Fruit of the Origin Chi. The fleshly body was wooded. So Wei Suo's blood-feeding shapeshift Great Art Knife is temporarily empty, not absorbing Chi and blood. Then, Wei Suo grabbed it and took all the treasure receiving pocket, which was piled up on one side of the great treasure. This time from Eastern Desolate Sect Cultivator Body Treasure Receiving Pocket, there are more than 100, itself Cultivator Own Treasure Receiving Pocket ratio of 10 Cultivator Not 1 has Treasure Receiving Pocket. Treasure Receiving Pocket is not much, and Secret Place is very great treasury. The auction can be a good price, but now so many Treasure Receiving Pocket in front of Wei Suo, as if Treasure Receiving Pocket with the ordinary Shapeshift Great Art Selector kind, it is great treasure. Road Goods. If there is a great treasure, or a Shapeshift Great Art, the ancient great treasure that can be installed with the treasure receiving pocket, so much so that the green-robed old man couldn't help but say that there were so many 5 light treasure receiving pockets in front of them. Wei Suo's ancient storage ring and storage bracelet are both amazing in size, so there is enough capacity to load things. Now with so many treasure receiving pockets, it's estimated that you can vacate 6 or 70 treasure receiving pockets at least. In this way, the 67 treasure receiving pockets are just a bit of a rib, lost and reluctant, and placed on the body and someplace. And only green-robed old man called the great treasure, such as the ancient pocket shift Great Art Great Treasure, can load the treasure receiving pocket, the shapeshift Great Art Great Treasure, the treasure receiving pocket itself, and even the ancient storage ring and storage bracelets are loaded with the treasure receiving pocket without shapeshift Great Art. This thing is very useful for Secret Place. It took almost a moment to recollect all the things in the treasure receiving pocket. After finishing the collection, Wei Suo took out only one thing. This thing is the golden ancient spear shapeshift Great Art Great Treasure of the Golden Armor Cultivator. The shapeshift Great Art Great Treasure's rank also has the powerful energy of mystic rank, and the material and shapeshift Great Art array don't know what kind of mystery. It turned out to be a space-type shapeshift Great Art Great Treasure that can be temporarily hidden in the void. As for the other things, in addition to the Eastern Desolate Sect Old Antique, the Nept World River Green Bamboo Refining Shapeshift Great Art Great Treasure, can be used to temper Black Water Lotus, temporarily for Wei Suo Not Too Great Treasure with Secret Place, the invisible shapeshift Great Art clothing that Wei Suo noticed earlier. Wei Suo is now inferior to his invisible shapeshift Great Art. After counting the things on hand, Wei Suo reinvented the spine shapeshift Great Art Great Treasure from ancient Desolate Bai Zi. After 4 days, the giant Desolate Bai Zi spine in Wei Suo's hands was covered with fine rune, and the splendid light of white Se flowed. This ancient Desolate Bai Zi spine shapeshift Great Art Great Treasure is finally refining. After refining this shapeshift Great Art Great Treasure, Wei Suoji took a moment, and the naked body would look like the powerful energy of this shapeshift Great Art Great Treasure. Then, the shapeshift Great Art Great Treasure refining Netherworld River Green Bamboo was taken off the ground and began to sculpt Black Water Lotus. But just after the half stick of incense, Wei Suo almost just refining the Eastern Desolate Sect Old Antique Water Spirit Yuan Qi in the shapeshift Great Art Great Treasure, Mystic Wind Section 1 Such surging sound is coming in from afar. Mystic Wind Sex Cultivator is here. Path to Heaven. Author, Wu Zy. Chapter 677. Chapter 677 Goodbye Brother Rabbit. Let's go. Bubble. When I went out to see the cultivator of Mystic Wind Sect, I will leave you the mountain of the Eastern Desolate Section. Wei Suo didn't hesitate to collect all the treasure receiving pockets directly, so that Mind-Devouring Bug controlled a Phoenix Eagle, and put all the unused treasure receiving pocket into a tin box, placed in Phoenix Unicorn Azure. On the platform on the back of the hawk, True Yuan rolled up the Eastern Desolate Sect Master and swept past the valley entrance. Grab the secret place of the valley, Wei Suo's hands were just a move, a light print, a gap appeared in the divine light screen covering the valley, and then the phoenix green eagle swept out of the gap. Seeing the action of Wei Suo, the Eastern Desolate sect master, who is already decades old, has the urge to vomit blood. After entering the scriptures depository of Eastern Desolate sect, Wei Suo even has a lot of Eastern Desolate section. The shapeshift great art, which opened and removed the restrictions, has been learned. It's black and yellow earth chi, young fellow, the guy of Mystic Wind sect, if it's a breath, like a stone, no wonder just like this cultivation base, and dare to come alone. The surging sound of green-robed old man slammed out of the ears of Eastern Desolate sect, and immediately rang in Wei Suo's ears. There is only one Mystic Wind sect cultivator outside the mountain, looking 27 years old, wearing a mysterious shapeshift great art clothing, dashing eyebrows star, like all Mystic Wind sect cultivators, with a natural high above. The Mystic Wind sect cultivator is the cultivation base of the thought division realm 5th layer, but the body of the origin chi is extremely thick, the tip of the silk, and even a trace of yellow Sarajin chi. Do not need to green-robed old man to remind, Wei Suo now also see this Mystic Wind sect cultivator is cultivation some kind of hidden flavor of the earth, shapeshift great art, can escape monster beast perception, but Wei Suo know, this is obviously Mystic Wind sect Jing young disciple, the reason why only such cultivator base dare a people in the heavenly profound continent northern part, which has been occupied by monster beast, mainly because of the majesty of Mystic Wind sect. The majesty of the great treasure, coupled with the shapeshift great art of the primordial spirit, even if it is a cultivator with many cultivation bases, it does not dare to deal with such a Mystic Wind sect disciple. N. Seeing that Wei Suo and Eastern Desolate sect master came out, the name of Mystic Wind sect disciple, which stands in the void and gives a high noble aura to the prince, is also a flash of surprise. Se, it is obvious that the Eastern Desolate sect master is abnormal. The kind of fruit, are you ready? But this Mystic Wind sect disciple is not too much to say, just look at the Eastern Desolate sect master and ask this. Ready, is there a trace of Lizii? Wei Suo looked at the Eastern Desolate sect master and looked at the Mystic Wind sect cultivator. Who are you? The frown of this Mystic Wind sect cultivator is slightly wrinkled. I am his uncle. Wei Suo clicked on the Eastern Desolate sect master and said nothing about surging sound. Se. Uncle Shi, the Mystic Wind sect disciple groaned and seemed to have some suspicions. After seeing Wei Suo, he said nothing, saying, give me the kind of fruit you collected. It's better to tell me the whereabouts of Lizii. Wei Suo saw that the Mystic Wind sect disciple had been suspicious, and Su Xing did not hide anything. He swept the Mystic Wind sect disciple and said faintly. The eyes of this Mystic Wind sect disciple flashed in a flash of silence. Are you who? It seems that you only have to say it. Wei Suo shook his head and said faintly. Chi. Between the Mystic Wind sect disciple eyes flash, I didn't even say anything at all. It turned into a yellow light and fell to the ground below. It's not a discrepancy of the great treasure, but it's a situation, and the response is fast. Green-robed old man can't help but a surging sound. It is obvious that this Mystic Wind sect disciple is an instant judgment that the situation is not good, very decisive, and directly want to escape with the good-natured band shapeshift great art. Wei Suo stood in the same place, reaching for a hand. A golden light disappeared directly from him, and then appeared beside the Mystic Wind sect disciple. A surging sound of pa, I saw a red light outside the name of Mystic Wind sect disciple, which was smashed by Wei Suo, and the name Mystic Wind sect disciple was naked body. A fierce shock, out of a surging sound. However, his figure is not the slightest stop. A surging sound of seems to have been put into a quagmire. Its figure disappears directly into the ground below with the yellow chi. But Wei Suo's god Se did not change, nor did he see any action. Ah! Below the ground below, suddenly a surging sound is dull called surging sound. The ground on one side seems to shake a bit. Immediately, I saw Weisuo reaching out to the secret place, a surging sound, mystic fiend ghost claw grabbed it, but directly grabbed the secret place, from the bottom 10 feet pulling out a figure, it is the mystic wind sect cultivator. I saw a blood dong on the bottom of the foot of the pulled mystic wind sect cultivator. The naked body was stiff and furious. You can leave on your own. Weisuo reached for a wave and the Eastern Desolate sect master was thrown by his direct True Yuan roll and threw it into the secret place of the valley entrance. Then Weisuo looked at the stiff mystic wind sect cultivator and asked calmly, "Are you already showing Lizai?" At the same time, Weisuo divine consciousness swept away and took the treasure receiving pocket on the mystic wind sect disciple. The thing in this mystic wind sect disciple treasure receiving pocket is very simple. There isn't a single spiritual stones. There are only a few yayas that complement True Yuan, and a black seal peak shapeshift great art great treasure with a slap of great treasure xiao. Weisuo reached out and touched the shapeshift great art great treasure directly, but saw that the black Sexiao mountain peak changed into a great treasure in the air, becoming a dozens of great treasure xiao, becoming like the real xiao shantu. It looks very heavy. There are 3 ancient naked body great treasure words Millennium Peak at the bottom. Are you who is who, dare to be an enemy of our mystic wind sect? Do you think that life is too long? Seeing that there is no one behind Weisuo to directly scrape his own treasure receiving pocket, test shapeshift great art great treasure, the god of this mystic wind sect disciple is even more furious, and surging sound. My name is Weisuo and I don't know if you have heard my name. Weisuo god comes and reaches for a little, and directly closes the black sand shaped shapeshift great art great treasure. This shapeshift great art great treasure is the weight shifting shapeshift great art great treasure, and the shapeshift great art great treasure by Deo rank. It is amazing for the general cultivator, but for Weisuo, it is nothing. Use secret place. Weisuo, are you the heavenly profound continent south rogue cultivator? You are crazy in your capacity, dare to be an enemy of our mystic wind sect. As soon as I heard Weisuo say, the mystic wind sect disciple was suddenly unbelievably called. Why, even you don't even know that Xuanhuan has died in my hands. Weisuo looked at the mystic wind sect disciple. True martial sect young master Xuanhuan is dead in your hands. You are full of nonsense. Great treasure blows shapeshift great art screw. The mystic wind sect disciple didn't believe it at all, sneer. It seems that true martial sect is going to die. It is the first to press this message down. Green-robed old man shouted in Weisuo's ear. I want to work with Lin Taixuqiao. There are 2 choices. One is to kill you. Then your cultivator of mystic wind sect should be sensed and will come by yourself. Another option is that you tell me Lizai now secret place, then I rush to the secret place. Weisuo is still very calm, and took a look at the sneer mystic wind sect disciple. 2 choices, choose one yourself. It seems that you are really crazy, completely crazy. You actually want to find us first senior brother Jiao Han's. You are simply looking for a dead end. The mystic wind sect disciple looked at Weisuo with a gaze-like look and shouted, well, since you have to find your way, then I can fulfill you. Now Lizai is on the south side of Netherworld City. Go, he should be driven to the periphery of Netherworld City. Really? Weisuo is not angry, there is no stopping, so mind-devouring bug controls the phoenix green eagle and flies straight toward the Netherworld City. The sky SE is getting darker and the sunset is like blood. That is Netherworld City. After several consecutive hours of flying, near the evening, in the sight of Weisuo's, there was a giant treasure city. Netherworld City. This city is far away, all black SE, Pang great treasure is incomparable, more than the great treasure of the darkness city, like an ancient giant beast, between the heavens and the earth. From afar, I saw that almost all the buildings of the giant city that gave people a strong sense of great treasure have been completely broken and become ruins, but the inside has a naked body lust shape, but it is not clear. Hong. In the future, I can see more of the scene around Netherworld City. In the sky on the side of the secret place, a surging sound is suddenly faintly heard. Li Ziyi is here. Wei Suo's face has been calm, and there is a glimpse of the gods. After a deep breath, the phoenix green eagle flies away from the secret place sky from the surging sound. Xiaoliang on the platform of the phoenix green eagle, mystic wind sect disciple cursed a surging sound and felt that Wei Suo was simply a contradiction of shapeshift great art. Hong. There is also a huge great treasure ringing surging sound. After the time of the stick of incense flew toward the secret place. Wei Suo saw the flame of the distant secret place. He is facing the direction, far away from the sky of the secret place, a group of peat great treasure 5se Xiaoguang, rowing in the sky, bringing out a dazzling trajectory. Chi flame is extremely arrogant and arrogant. In front of the 5se Xiaoguang, there was a grey-black se figure desperately fleeing. The figure of the grey-black se escaped for a moment, and seemed to want to fold to the left, but in the sky far from the secret place, there was soon a golden flame coming out. The grey-black silhouette turned to the right side, but the far secret place on the right side quickly passed the rumbling surging sound. It seemed that there was endless thunder and it was walking through the clouds. The grey-black figure can only be turned to the front, and the group Xuanhuan turns to the general. The light and shadow of the whole body is trembling. It seems to be completely broken at any time, and it seems extremely helpless. Brother Rabbit, I am here. Wei Suo once again took a deep breath, agitating Xuanhuan, the silver flashing on his body, the surging sound sounded, and the rolling passed. You are listening to novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Path to Heaven. Author, Wu Ziyi. Chapter 678. Chapter 678 Flying the Brain. Brother Rabbit, it's you. Hearing the surging sound of Wei Suo's surging sound, the figure of the grey-black se was noticeable, and the unsuccessful surging sound was heard. Immediately after swallowing, this grey-black figure looks like the main bone, and comes to the direction of Wei Suo's surging sound. It's me, I am here. Wei Suo reached out and waved the mystic wind sect disciple and the Fengxian green eagle on the back of the Fengxian green eagle. The Xuanhuan was wrapped and put into the forest below. Then there was a blazing fire cloud at the foot. The grey-black figure pointed out the direction and continued to volley toward the grey-black figure. The grey-black se figure is Li Ziyi. I saw Li Ziyi's grey-black se from the spiritual chi. If there is nothing, like the fire candle in the wind, it should be extinguished at any time. He still wore Wei Suo's green shapeshift great art suit, but this Kingdi shapeshift great art suit has now been completely destroyed, turned into a piece of rag, his body bruised, and last Wei Suo when I met him, it was almost the same. Xiang has a 3-finger long and wide blood dong, completely pierced, front and rear translucent, wound secret place and brilliance flashing, blood cannot be sealed, flowing. The breath on his body has been extremely aging, his face is wrinkled, his naked body is naked, his head is white and thin, and it seems that Xuanhuan and Golden Core powerful energy are almost exhausted and can die at any time. His appearance is already an exhausted old man, but the god on his face is extremely shocked. He looks at Wei Suo's eyes very thoroughly, full of pure happiness and moving, just like a departure. The family left, and there was no way to go outside, and I saw the children of my family. Brother Rabbit, it's really you close to Wei Suo. Li Ziyi's cockroaches are almost twice as fast as the cockroaches. The grayish-black outside is constantly falling apart, and the old naked body is jumping in the air like a projectile. Puff, but at the same time, a blood spurted out of his mouth. Hong. Wei Suo's was also a violent shock, and Xuanhuan rolled Li Ziyi in front of him. Brother Rabbit, I can't think of you. Li Ziyi's spiritual chi almost disappeared, and it seemed to be suffering. Even if Wei Suo was rolled in front of him, the god lust on his face was still very scared. From time to time, he looked at the backside with horror. By near multicolored light group, Brother Rabbit, I am dying, the people behind are terrible, you are running away, leave me alone. I am Mystic Wind Sect, who is the enemy of Mystic Wind Sect, and help this person. At the same time, a surging sound sounded from behind the Ponte Great Treasure, and Lazy Eye, who almost completely disappeared from the spiritual chi, was stunned. This surging sound is very old, the surging sound is not loud, but it is cold and without lust, with the majesty of Supreme, can be heard within a few hundred miles, just like a handle with an ice blade piercing the ear in. This cultivator, which is this surging sound, is clearly an old antique class great treasure cultivator from Mystic Wind Sect. Reassure, I am here, no one has done shapeshift great art to let you die, but the god Se on the face of Weisuo has not changed in the slightest. Among his eyes, there is a divine splendor flame burning. While calmly and steadily speaking the sentence, his hand was red and dazzling, but he had already caught the blood crystal stone in his hand, and continuously dropped 2 drops of red CaO liquid, wrapped directly with True Yuan, and broke into the wound of Lazy Eye. It's okay, there is me, these people can't bully you. Seeing that Lazy Eye is still very scared, and Sujuo shakes, Weisuo softly surging sound and said the sentence, his eyes are extremely positive. Woo woo woo, Lazy Eye saw Weisuo's incomparable look, suddenly seemed to be completely relaxed. Woo Woo cried, Brother Rabbit, they are too bad, so many people beat me and bullied me. I will help you deal with them. Weisuo looked up at the group of colorful lights near the group. The hustle and bustle of this group of colorful light groups is also much faster than it is. It is obvious that before I just didn't want Billy Zi by 2, I deliberately opened a long distance. In addition, the splendid light that the group is out in the distance is obviously the same. After watching the dozens of breaths, I will reach the Pang Great Treasure in front of me. Weisuo's eyes are extremely cold, but his movements have not stopped. After taking a drop of Yao liquid from the blood crystal stone and letting Lazy Eye swallow it, he took out a Dan Yao directly and let Lazy Eye swallow it. You are looking for death. This person's life essence will be exhausted, and you will save him. It is useless, one ang feeling Yao, but it is your own life. Among the colorful light clusters, the cold and Supreme's majestic surging sound sounded again. At this time, it is close to it, and it can be seen clearly. Among the colorful light group is an old man standing on a multicolored Ukraine with a long head. The old man was wearing a robe covered with mysterious rune, blue ling yu refining, face and 1 yu outside the skin, all like white yu, a white se long scatter in the back, almost hanging. There are countless light lines flashing in the eyes, and the spiritual chi on the body forms a white sea underneath it, with the majesty of Supreme. Brother Rabbit, you refining these things and say. However, Weisuo's movement still had no stop. He took out 2 crystal stone-like fruits and a great treasure piece of colorful stone, crushed it and handed it to Lazy Eye. Heavenly Dragon Crystal Fruit. Heavenly Dragon Blood Fossil. Lazy Eye's chi and blood and golden core powerful energy are almost exhausted, the life essence will be exhausted, but Weisuo will not let him die, that is, let him grow great treasure chi and blood, increase life essence, and return to life. You want to die, I will fulfill you. The Mystic Wind Sect old antique in the colorful light group saw the action of Weisuo. The tone was still cold without feeling lust, but the air around the body was violently shocking. Dang, the sky above was faint, on the square the sunset glow within the range of 1,000 feet was shattered, and in the sky was formed a shape of a sword. Call. As the surstick sound of the Mystic Wind Sect old antique breathes, his hands become transparent and shine with countless crystal splendid light. A mysterious light pattern emerges from his hands, instantly forming the shape of an ancient sword. The ancient sword is still connected with countless light lines, like a great treasure array, indicating the mysterious heaven and earth order. Pa. This name is like the white yu carved into the same Mystic Wind Sect old antique. The ancient sword formed by the twist of the light, broke down against Weisuo, wants to directly wipe Wei Suo. Oh, the space in front of Wei Suo seems to have collapsed, and the air is compressed to reveal a crystal-like luster. Wei Suo's face did not change in the slightest, and reached for a stroke. Hong. Numerous amazing rays of light came directly from his heart's secret place, forming a white sea ancient heavenly dragon, at the same time, a thin dark golden sword light, rushing out from him. The light sword of the mystic wind sect old antique was directly beaten and divided into numerous streams, collapsed and scattered in the void. Ah! This mystic wind sect old antique called a surging sound great treasure, and was blown out by the dark golden sword light that was not consumed by powerful energy. Under the body, the colorful shifting shape-shift great art great treasure, which was scattered with colorful light, was also directly smashed by the raging powerful energy. An old antique of mystic wind sect is directly flying out by Wei Suo. How, who is this person, so young, how could there be such a cultivation base? The mystic wind sect old antique that flew out did not have any scars, and the shapeshift great art clothing was not damaged, but the mouth was vomiting a blood, and the eyes were extremely shocking. The heavenly profound continent northern part was attacked by beast tide, and Lazy Eyes thing was about great treasure, so mystic wind sect was a total of 4 real old antique characters. These 4 real old antique characters, at least the cultivation base of the golden core third layer late stage, are much more honorable than the average supreme elder. In mystic wind sect, this old antique character, they are all known as old ancestor. This old antique class old ancestor, which has been a rival in the cultivation world decades ago. Now this old ancestor is one of the 4 real old antiques of mystic wind sect who entered the heavenly profound continent northern part. In the past 100 years, he has not suffered any trauma, but today he met Wei Suo. Although he was a light enemy, he was beaten up and down under one face, and the guild suffered damage, which made him feel uncomfortable. A chill. The eyes were shocked and flew out. At the same time, the mystic wind sect old antique suddenly had a strong shape-shift great art, a terrifying breath, and he around the body condense. Mystic wind sect is such a great treasure, with many divine mystic cultivators, thousands of years of accumulation, divine ability of the old antique character, and the old antique character of the ancient desolate compared to Pu. But the silver set divine light on Wei Suo shines in the air, and the old antique of this mystic wind sect doesn't have time to show anything like shapeshift great art and shapeshift great art great treasure. White's shapeshift great art great treasure has appeared in front of Wei Suo's and has been thoroughly ridiculed. A torrent of white semiasma instantly wrapped the mystic wind sect old antique. The blue Sio-shaped shapeshift great art on the mystic wind sect old antique was put on the blue great treasure, blocking the overwhelming white semiasma, but a black light, but it was blown up at the same time, a strand of origin chi, directly on the old antique of mystic wind sect, through the blue separate light from the old folks shapeshift great art. Ah! The old antique carved like a white U suddenly called a great treasure, and the naked body was fiercely stiff. The light pattern that had just appeared on the body disappeared, and at the same time, his skin was white. All emerged as gray. Pu. Blood light chi, a thin dark golden sword light, no longer staying in the white semiasma, hit the throat of this old antique. Pang great treasure's powerful energy directly broke the old antique the neck, with the entire head of the old antique, flew straight back. It's the kind of fruit of origin chi, he used the kind of fruit of origin chi to deal with me. His shapeshift great art is actually faster than me, his divine consciousness and cultivation base are even stronger than me. In the consciousness of this old antique, these two thoughts have just emerged. The breath and vitality of the body are all cut off. Mystic wind sect, a real old antique character, just in the blink of an eye, was directly killed by Wei Suo. What? So what's that about? How? Almost at the same time, thousands of miles, a lot of secret place, a lot of bodies with terrifying breath, all shaken completely. Path to Heaven. Author, Wu Zy. Chapter 679. Chapter 679 Breaking Kunpeng Golden Body. In Netherworld City. The entire Netherworld City is extremely plunging, and there are several times the dark treasures of True Darkness City. It is built on a hill and has a height of over 4,000 feet. But the more Pangret treasure, the ruin is completely ruined, giving people a feeling, but it is even more repression, shock. In addition, the whole Netherworld City is made in situ, built with black se stone, and now completely turned into ruins. Sunset is dimly lit, and there is silence. I am afraid that anyone who is in it will have a kind of legend. The land of the 9 secluded yellow springs, even the breath cannot see through. At the top of the Netherworld City, the mountain body has been completely cracked, the hills are connected to the building above, the great treasure half is broken, and there are countless traces of the giant treasure. But on the side of the back of the mountain, there is a strange space in the square. This strange space is all enveloped in a sleek green sedivine splendor. In the innermost, there seems to be an ordinary stone room, and there is no sight of a naked body. Around this strange space, all are the bones of various monster beasts. And the closer to this area, the surrounding bones piled up even more amazingly, forming a circle of Bo-One-Ang-like accumulation. At this moment, among the sedivine splendor, there is a monster beast with 2 people high, and they are struggling to mourn. This monster beast looks like an upright crocodile at first glance, but in a closer look, in addition to the special Pongre treasure of the head, with a short tail, the figure is more like a cultivator. This monster beast is an ancient ferocious beast, spirit-devouring beast. The spirit of this spirit-devouring beast is much more powerful than the spirit-devouring beast that Wei Suo had encountered in North Spirit City before. It is obvious that the strength of this spirit-devouring beast is better than that of Wei Suo etal. The spirit-devouring beast encountered in North Spirit City is even more powerful. But at this moment, the spirit-devouring beast is trapped in the sly green sedivine splendor. It is even one step without the shapeshift great art. It is covered by the green sedivine splendor. Many of the skin on the body has cracked. It seems that there is an infinite force constantly strangling this ancient ferocious beast. Back to the area full of indigo sedivine splendor, standing a young cultivator wearing a bright yellow shapeshift great art dress, spotless, wide and bright forehead, full of kings. This young cultivator is the true biography of Mystic Wind Sect first senior brother, Lin Taixu. Originally Lin Taixu took the lead, no matter what the spirit-devouring beast in the sedivine splendor behind him, facing the south side of the Netherworld City, seems to be waiting for everything. But at the moment when Wei Suo took the real enemy of the real Mystic Wind Sect Old Antique character Old Ancestor and killed the Old Ancestor directly, Lin Taixu's naked body was shocked at the same time. Also flashed an incredible god se. Old Ancestor is falling. How could? Who can kill Old Ancestor? Is Northern Bright Sex Cultivator? Don't they have a life? Hong. Lin Taixu's body, instantly bursting out the strong great treasure terrifying breath, the whole person turned into a streamer, rising. Pu. At the same time, Wei Suo crossed the void and took the body of Old Ancestor to the front, took out the blood slip shapeshift great art knife, Nebsp, it's who, dare not even look at our Mystic Wind Sect, a surging sound is filled with ice cooling surging sound of heaven shaking murderous intention. Hong. Previously on the left side of the secret place, the golden brilliance that blocked Li Zi's way, suddenly spewed out of the ocean like terrifying origin Chibo, a cultivator came like a foot, and the body of spirit light formed a giant great treasure's golden winged kunpeng, obscuring a great treasure piece of sunset, with the majesty of supreme. Hong, a waterfall of silver se falls down in the clouds, and the entire sky seems to have been smashed by the invisible giant hammer. Hong, a meteor-like white light, coming from the far secret place Jishi, is unimaginable, with a long trajectory behind it. Who, dare to be an enemy of my Mystic Wind section? Blocked miles. One after another, the surging sound with supreme pressure sounded in the sky of each secret place. One and one heaven shaking strong, constantly appearing, coming across the sky, thousands of miles of mist is completely boiling, the world is shaking, the breath is suffocating. So many cultivators? Golden core great treasure cultivator, at least a dozen. Xiaofish have so many. Green-robed old man Xuanhuan called. In all directions, at least a dozen groups have made the terrifying atmosphere of the heavens and clouds change, and farther away from the secret place, many secret places, there are many splendid light in the surging, it seems that there is also a trace of the phoenix green eagle. Very good, this is just the news that can't be transmitted, it won't make a shock. Wei Suo swept over and reacted in an instant. In order to avoid Li Ziyi from escaping, Mystic Wind sect was within a few thousand miles of this circle, and a giant net had already been opened. Now there are so many brilliances, at least hundreds of cultivators are guarded in all directions, farther away from the secret place, I am afraid there are cultivator guards, so many cultivators, obviously except for their own cultivator. Mystic Wind sect also uses many of the other cultivators or rogue cultivators who follow Mystic Wind sect's orders. These cultivators, like a giant net, just opened the mouth of this secret place and let Li Ziyi get in. Now this mouth has been closed. A group of terrifying pressures came from all sides, like a great treasure mountain, which was suppressed from all directions. The whole sky was filled with unimaginable murderousness. The general cultivator, facing this kind of lust shape, I am afraid already soft to the ground, there is no shapeshift great art at all. However, Wei Suo pulled out the blood-feeding shapeshift great art knife and directly collected the body of Mystic Wind sect old ancestor into the ancient storage ring, but instead directly directed the golden brilliance that was closest to himself. Go with. The Mystic Wind sect great treasure cultivator has a breath of great treasure, and the spirit light on the body forms the giant treasure golden kunpeng variation scenery, which is the strongest of the moments that Wei Suo can feel. Obviously also an old antique character of Mystic Wind sect, and the strength is still above this old ancestor. Wei Suo now wants to take the rest of the cultivator and not have a near, and before the formation of the encirclement, the upgrade of this strong great treasure is removed. Court death. The golden spirit light, the Mystic Wind sect old antique, which forms the giant treasure golden kunpeng variation scenery, is an old man in a gold shirt. The old man looks ordinary, but his body is very tall and great, and the whole person seems to have a magical seeing, with a sense of oppression. Looking at Wei Suo, who came to her own, this Mystic Wind sect old antique first shot, countless golden Mao-like brilliance floated around him, gathered together to form a golden torrent, towards Wei Suo rushed into the surrounding space with a fierce vibrato. Pa! The monster subduing tower in the east is directly in front of Wei Suo's, like a black mountain of Xiao Se, colliding with the golden torrent. Hong, Black Se and Golden's powerful energy are almost the same, like KO, splashing out in all directions. Hula, the plants and rocks on the ground below were all shocked and shattered into the air, turning into ashes. Mystic Wind sect old antique in the eyes of the divine glow burst, numerous golden's golden core sunlight, actually emerged from the eyes, condense a two-footed great treasure Xiao, handheld Kanjak Paul great treasure golden god Buddha in an instant, I arrived in front of the monster subduing tower. Pa! At the same time, a golden core sunlight condense is also a white-seated heavenly dragon that is several times larger than this golden god Buddha. It hits this golden god Buddha and beats this golden god Buddha. The pieces flew and shook the sky. Who is this person? There is such a cultivation base. No wonder this person can kill an old ancestor, this person's golden core powerful energy, actually still above Kunpeng old ancestor in all directions, as God King descended, the strong man who broke through the void, although they all felt that Wei Suo would die, but when they saw the power of the two people fighting shapeshift great art, they also saw a very shocking god. In their memory, there is no match for divine ability and Weisuo of a cultivator. I don't know who is the enemy of this mystic wind sect old antique at the moment. At the moment when the ancient heavenly dragon of the Weisuo golden core sunlight condense smashed the golden Buddha of the mystic wind sect old antique, the mystic wind sect old antique was flashed and naked. The golden Kunpeng phantom above the body is once again great treasure. Chi. But before he hit this shot, a dark golden sword Chi of Pang great treasure has already been killed in front of him. This person's shapeshift great art is even so much faster than Kunpeng old ancestor. How could this person's shapeshift great art be so fast? All the people who saw this scene, all great treasure was taken aback. Seeing that this mystic wind sect old antique is too late to apply shapeshift great art, it will be smashed by this dark golden sword Chi, a surging sound of Pa, the mystic wind sect old antique before Xiong, it was automatically floating a group of red Se Guanghua, blocking the blow of this dark golden Guanghua. Shapeshift great art great treasure. Shua. The blazing Jinxia flashed, and the figure of mystic wind sect old antique suddenly turned into the streamer of hundreds of goldens, all rushing to Weisuo who came to him. Just between the fingers, all the streamers gathered behind Weisuo's, and the real body of this mystic wind sect old antique appeared. This mystic wind sect old antique has turned into a pure golden now, and it seems that the naked body seems to be Jing gold, and the arms are wrapped with a golden light pattern. The flames form the golden Kunpeng great treasure of two giant great treasures. Call. The mystic wind sect old antique has completely turned into a golden body. In the eyes, it is also the divine glow of golden. When the punch is directly directed at Weisuo, the origin of the radius is within the range of a few feet. Emptied, all isolated by a circle of golden light. Kunpeng golden body. Ancient desolate fights great treasure. As soon as I saw this scene, many of the secret places were not cultivators in mystic wind sect, and the breathing stopped. Kunpeng golden body, ancient desolate fights the great treasure technique. It is an ancient long-lost beat shift great art. With the use of origin Chi's Shock Dang, you can weave a unique origin Chi order and isolate the surrounding world. So that the other side has no shapeshift great art in the moment, shapeshift great art. I have a friend named Ye, who loves this kind of close-up fight, shapeshift great art, but I don't know what secret place is flowing at this moment, otherwise if he got your shapeshift great art, he would be very happy in everyone's eyes. Weisuo will definitely be killed by this attack, and Li Ziyi beside Weisuo is once again afraid of being stunned, but at this moment, Weisuo is still very calm, faintly said this sentence at the same time, a surging sound of Pa, his punch. Squatted on the fist of mystic wind sect old antique golden. Weisuo's body, a porch-like giant treasure heat, while the body bursts with countless silver, his fist, safe and sound, but the fist of this mystic wind sect old antique was played by Weisuo completely smashed, such as the same group of soft cakes, the bones of the entire arm, also have a broken surging sound. The mystic wind sect old antique was shocked, and the half-body was trembled. He didn't even think that the other's fleshly body power was even stronger than him. Path to Heaven. Author, Wu Ziyi. Chapter 680. Chapter 680 Great Treasure. The mystic wind sect old antique was shocked and decisive. But Weisuo's other fist flashed silver and he stumbled without stopping. Pa. Mystic wind sect old antique another arm is in front of it, wanting to block Weisuo, but a surging sound, his arm is directly broken by Weisuo, hanging down. Without a stop, Weisuo grabbed the mystic wind sect old antique, which was going to retreat, and the hard-working figure was in the cover of the golden light that had not yet dissipated, while at the same time, a fist the cockroach is on the head of this mystic wind sect old antique. Boom! The head of the mystic wind sect old antique suddenly had a soothing sound of surging sound. The 7 scorpions were bleeding, the naked body was shocked, and the qi and blood and true yuan jidang in the naked body were fundamental. Without shapeshift great art to cast any of the shapeshift great art, even the consciousness seems to be smashed. Without a slight pause, Wei Suo once again took out the oven-like porge treasure, and slammed it down on the head of the mystic wind sect old antique that he was holding. Stop it! A silver se waterfall came from the wind, and there was a sternly shouted of the surging sound. Boom! But Wei Suo's action didn't stop at all. As if there was a tumultuous thunder rolling in the clouds, the silver shining fist was once again on the head of Mystic Wind Sect Old Antique. The Mystic Wind Sect Old Antique, which was hit again, slammed into a naked body, and a blood spurt out. The golden light and vitality of the body disappeared quickly and completely disappeared. Mystic Wind Sect Old Ancestor, was it killed like this? Kunpeng Old Ancestor of Golden Core 4th layer, even, fallen. I don't know the old antique that has lived for hundreds of years, the unmatched divine ability, beaten with Kunpeng golden body and ancient desolate, but it was actually killed by me. Old ancestor has also fallen. Who is this person, even killing two mystic wind sect old ancestor? For a time, far secret place guarded the 8 parties, all seeing the cultivator of this scene, the heart cannot say shocked. Great treasure brain has simply lost the ability to think, as if Wei Suo is in the head of them. Body roll silver se waterfall mystic wind sect strong, is the former deepest pool city outside, she shapeshift great art intercepted Lizi that say my name old man, this surname ancient elder, is also mystic wind d sect sent to heavenly profound continent northern part, one of the 4 real old antique, now his face of God se wrath abnormal, did not think Wei Suo at all regardless of his sternly shout kill Kunpeng old ancestor directly. You are looking for death. The flame of a great treasure blue se came from the east side. This and body roll silver se waterfall mystic wind sect old antique almost at the same time to mystic wind sect strong, is a skin se such as Snow White but, the United States yan not square palace dress less envy, among the eyebrows is a rounded, slender blue great treasure stone, like a vertical eye, which is in heavenly profound continent northern part all mystic wind sect true disciple, the status second only to Lin Taixu, can be to the remaining true disciple number schooling Hanyu Er. At this moment, the female cultivator has a cold face and is strewn with an amazing cold murderous aura. Really? Wei Suo looked like a battery, and coldly glanced at Hanyu Er. This name female cultivator looks beautiful beauty, elegant and luxurious, it is easy to make people feel the heart of love, but I don't know why, now this envy, this is the kind of envy body that is born high, not put people the feeling in the eyes makes Wei Suo disgusted. A surging sound, while the silver light flashed, Wei Suo stepped out and settled, and then lost control. The monster subduing tower fell down to the nearest mystic wind sect old antique. Attacked. This mystic wind sect old antique did not hesitate, the silver se waterfall cascaded in front, and at the same time sacrificed a green Xiu clock, out of a green se light pattern, blocking in front. This mystic wind sect old antique is extremely rich in enemies experience. I don't want to rely on myself and Wei Suo to fight hard. I just want to delay Wei Suo first, and wait until other great treasures come, to kill Wei Suo. When are you not there, seeing that Wei Suo didn't put himself in the eye, crossed the void, divine consciousness all gathered on the name of mystic wind sect old antique, Hanyu Er sullen face, white, blue eye great treasure, that like the vertical eye, the blue great treasure stone is revealed, and the great treasure is kept. In a flash, it turns out to be an extremely simple, colorful treasure blue se palace with scattered glory treasure. Xuanhuan Moon Palace. Hanyu Er this thing in the eyebrow is the mystic level mid-level shapeshift great art great treasure that Shui Ling Er deliberately mentioned to Wei Suo. After presenting this shapeshift great art great treasure, Hanyu Er wanted to attack Wei Suo. Kaka. But at this time, the dark golden brilliance and a blood light flashed, Wei Suo just took a step in the air, a blow, the silver se waterfall and the green Xiu clock in front of the mystic wind sect old antique, all were the game was completely broken, and it turned into a piece of spangled light, which swept out. Ah! The mystic wind sect old antique is called great treasure, and the silver in front of it is densely lit. A silver Se light is 100 times more brilliant than the silver Sedivine light on Weisuo, but it is even offered by the golden core. But the glow in front of the silver sea golden core, but cascade and scattered, can't stop Weisuo's blow. It seems that even the golden core will be crushed. At this time, a group of Pangret treasures blue light blocked the front of the golden core of the mystic wind sect old antique, but Han Yuer saw the situation. No shapeshift great art scruples attack Weisuo, while the Guangan Moon Palace is blocked in front of the golden core of mystic wind sect old antique. Pa! Ah! I saw that the Guangan Moon Palace was beaten backwards and crashed into the rear of the golden core. At the same time, mystic wind sect old antique and Han Yuer are both naked body stunned, while at the same time squatting back, the mouth is spurting a blood out. Chi! A blue-lighted terrifying ghost claw was directly captured in the air, and spirit light flashed Wan Yuan's Guangan Moon Palace, directly dragging the shapeshift great art great treasure to Weisuo's. Immediately divine consciousness and true Yuan of the great treasure hit the blue Se Moon Palace. Han Yuer instantly lost contact with this shapeshift great art great treasure, this shapeshift great art great treasure, taken directly by Weisuo. A hit the ancient old ancestor and Han Yuer hit hard, but also took a strong shot of Han Yuer's cold moon palace. What kind of divine ability this person is? Who is this person? Even the young master of those ranks, there is no such divine ability. Weisuo shines in silver, protects Lizai, crosses in the air, kills 2 old antiques of mystic wind sect in a row, and kicks Han Yuer and the old ancestor back, taking advantage of shapeshift great art great treasure, Supreme's divine might, shakes the world, so that all the cultivators who see the scene can't help but tremble, and the chill of the cock is straight into the bones. I don't deal with you first, not when you don't exist, but don't want to hurt this shapeshift great art great treasure. Although Shui Linger and I didn't say much, but from her god, I thought that this shapeshift great art great treasure might have belonged to her, not yours. Han Yuer's eyes were extremely horrifying, and Weisuo's cold eyes were piercing the void, and she looked at her and at the same time coldly produced such a surging sound. Shui Linger, you, when I heard the words of Weisuo's, Han Yuer's eyes were filled with incredible gods in an instant, as if they were reacting. Actually, it's you. At the same time, a surging sound with a vast expanse of pressure, extremely cool and cold surging sound, from the direction of Netherworld City. How, Lin Taixu, I was surprised to see that I was. Weisuo directly put away the cold winter palace, a surging sound, just used the powerful energy to deal with the old antique bloodshot shapeshift great art knife of the Milky Way, piercing the Kunpeng old ancestor in front of him. In the middle of my heart, while my eyes were swept away, I stopped chasing and turned around. In the direction of the rear Netherworld City, an escape light is drawn in an amazing degree. Among them, wearing the bright yellow shapeshift great art clothing, scattered with the majesty of the heavens and the earth, is not under mystic wind sect, the true biography of the 10,000 people first senior brother Lin Taixu or who? Why, do you think that I will die? If I am dead, who will tell the world? The thousands of cultivators in North Spirit City, could have escaped the great treasure have, the result is all because you want to get out, lead to the monster beast and die. After turning around, Weisuo's icy surging sound continued to thunder, and within a few hundred miles, it was clear. Hung. At the moment, within a few hundred miles, at least hundreds of cultivators that are not mystic wind sect are gathered. At this moment, Weisuo's surging sound, these cultivators that follow mystic wind sect's order, are also clearly heard, but Lin Taixu face there is no obvious change at all on the god Se, and there is a surging sound heavily in the nose. The ants are the ants, as long as my mystic wind sect still has 100,000 cultivators, many golden core great treasure repairs, divine mystic giants sit, and everything else is fake. Do you think that your words can affect me? I don't know how you escaped, but do you think you can escape today? Just between Lintagzu and the cold, a strip of strong great treasure, they arrived, and they were guarded by a valley about 10 miles from Weisuo. Together with Lintagzu, Hanyuer and old ancestor, there are 12 cultivators scattered with Pon's great treasure spiritual chi, surrounded by Weisuo. A total of 12 golden core great treasure cultivator. Lintagzu came over the valley and paused. His eyes were cold and he looked down at Weisuo and the shapeshift great art clothes, and his face became a little restless lazy eye. Not old Xuanhuan, Blackbird Reverend, I don't think they are actually here. Weisuo's eyes swept through the 12 great treasures who guarded the 8 parties and surrounded themselves. Suddenly, it was a serious saying, Lintagzu, I am also the Dao companion of Shui Ling. It is also the envy of your mystic wind section. You are the brother of Shui Ling, and it is also her brother. It is reasonable that you are my great treasure. Do you really want to put me to death? What? Sao Linger's Dao companion? He. Weisuo's the surging sound came out, and the cultivator in the hundreds of miles was full of shocks. The gods on the face and the only ones who saw Weisuo killing mystic wind sect old antique were unbelievable. Young fellow surnamed Wei, you nonsense what? Lintagzu suddenly changed his face and couldn't help but sternly shouted out surging sound. Weisuo was originally trying to make the story of the great treasure, how to shake it, so when I heard Lintagzu sternly shouted, he shook his head and put on a bitter smile. Great treasure, now the wood has become a boat, can we still talk about it? You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Path to Heaven. Author, Wu Ziyi. Chapter 681. Chapter 681 is Vomiting Blood. When I die, I still want to speak Xuanhuan. My sister Shui Linger has been assigned to true martial sect young master Su Xuanhuan. Lintagzu's face changed, but it was calm again, and looked at Weisuo. If you are out of lazy eye, obediently kneel down, listen to the fall, I might even let you live. A dead ghost, can you still be a Dao companion? Weisuo smiled. Great treasure, don't you kidding, okay. What are you talking about in Xuanhuan? Then Weisuo shouted a surging sound. Great treasure, Lintagzu face ancient well without bow, step forward, the mist above the head, forming a huge treasure of great treasure, does not seem to want to talk nonsense with Weisuo, I am about to shoot. Su Xuanhuan and White Feather Reverend have been killed by me. Weisuo's didn't have the slightest nervousness on his face, and he smiled and said. Now look at the lust-shaped true martial sect is the Su Xuanhuan was killed. Message pressed down, but Weisuo the day in the true martial men before, has already fallen into true martial sect master's eyes. True martial sect master already know that he killed Su Xuanhuan, plus now Weisuo is to how to shake on how to do, so Weisuo also have nothing to conceal, directly will Su Xuanhuan and by Reverend was told what he had killed. What? Su Xuanhuan and White Feather Reverend were killed by him. Su Xuanhuan is true martial sect young master. Divine ability is far from being a general cultivator. White Feather Reverend is more like divine ability than Kunpeng old ancestor. This is not necessarily true. This person has no fear. Even killing 2 mystic wind sect old antiques, with his divine ability, may not kill Su Xuanhuan and White Feather Reverend. But Su Xuanhuan is true martial sect young master. Divine mystic great treasure, the bones of energy, how could he dare to do it? Weisuo, this sentence is exported, many cultivators are immediately analogously inverted nebs, on your own, you can also kill Su Xuanhuan. Lintagzu's eyes lifted slightly, but the gods on his face did not change at all. Great treasure, if you don't believe it, you can try it. Weisuo smiled and his eyes fell on Lintagzu. Do you dare to fight alone? Hey! Among Lintagzu's eyes, she felt like a real divine light, and there was a sneer on her face. Will you challenge me with a blood-feeding shapeshift great art knife? I am not kidding. Wei Suo waved his hand and was serious. The so-called beautiful envy with hero, today great treasure brother, you are not my opponent, don't hide it. I admit that Shui Linger has become my Dao companion. How is it? If you can survive today, I will not be impossible to give you Shui Linger. Lin Taixu's tone is understated, not at all for Wei Suo's words. At the same time, reaching for a stroke, a blue seed dragon roll falls directly from the sky and falls towards Wei Suo. Great treasure, you are too anxious. In your capacity, it is reasonable to let me take the shot first. Faced with the cover of his own Ponte Gret treasure, Wei Suo shook his head, sighed and reached out. Suspended in front of him in the east monster subduing tower on the black light great treasure, rushing going to heaven, I directly smashed the blue se dragon roll that fell from above. Tianxian Dao pattern, 1,000 years of flow. See how your blood-sucking shape-shift great art knife and annihilation golden core work. Wei Suo broke the blue se tornado. Lin Taixu had no sadness on his face, his forehead was bright, and his fingers were out of countless green se lights, like a god. Numerous green se light patterns instantly enveloped thousands of squares. These light lines do not seem to carry any powerful energy. The astral wind formed by the fragmented green se tornado is also cut directly from these light lines. These green se light patterns, such as dream bubbles, seem to be illusory. However, these blue se light patterns are coming out. All the origin chi in the thousands of squares are violently shaken. These earthquakes of origin chi have powerful energy of spirit rank, shapeshift below spirit rank. Great art, entering this range, I am afraid that it will be shattered in an instant. Pei pa pa pa. Wei Suo seems to be in a world of dramatic dang, and spirit light is constantly popping out. This is our rabbit's shapeshift great art Lizzie. I couldn't help but scream when she saw Lin Taixu out of the Dao technique shapeshift great art. It's a pity that Netherworld Palace has been destroyed for thousands of years. Even Sect Master's successor, a generation of heroes, even thought that he was a rabbit. This heavenly mysterious pattern, the age of the years, is the result of my ruins outside the Netherworld Palace secret place. It is better to deal with you. In the sneer surging sound, Lin Taixu stands still in the void, a blazing golden flame, which floats in front of him. Instantly Dang smashes the terrifying powerful energy and the amazing ancient desolate breath, breaking through the world. Dragging a long flame tail in the air and hitting Wei Suo. Annihilation God Spear. Lin Taixu's Annihilation God Spear's powerful energy is extremely terrifying. And Hideo technique shapeshift great art, all the space around the Dang Wei Suo, the blood-feeding shapeshift great art knife, I am afraid that it will be shattered immediately, and the Annihilation golden core will be detonated. And just from the monster subduing tower in the east, Lin Taixu sees that Wei Suo comes from the Eastern Desolate sect, and now his Dao technique shapeshift great art, so Wei Suo also has no shapeshift great art to sacrifice that kind of fruit. Instead, it was directly around the body, and it hurt itself. Pu. A white spine shapeshift great art great treasure of Pangret treasure appears in front of Wei Suo's. The shapeshift great art great treasure of this ancient desolate Bai-Ze spine is very tough, the powerful energy of ordinary spirit rank is Dang, and there is no damage to shapeshift great art. Under Wei Suo's G, the rolling white semiasma spewed out and instantly filled the square. What is this shapeshift great art great treasure? What is the use of secret place for this shapeshift great art great treasure? All of the onlookers of the cultivator, including the remaining old antiques of Mystic Wind sect, simply don't see the origins of this shapeshift great art great treasure. Dang! I saw the ray of annihilation God Spear, unstoppable. The monster subduing tower, which fell straight from above the Wei Suo, was directly attacked. Boom! One day white, the ancient heavenly dragon emerged in the white semiasma, and after the bombing of the monster subduing tower in the east, blocked Lin Taixu's annihilation God Spear. Pa! Dao Venerable, a young seer condense, condensed from Lin Taixu's body and instantly hit Wei Suo's, crushing a dark golden sword chi from Wei Suoji. Dang! Fly back to Lin Taixu, and Annihilation God Spear hit it again and flew again at the monster subduing tower, which was taken back by Wei Suo. Boom! Pa! Lin Taixu's breath and pressure are as raging as Wang Yang, and the whole person's naked body seems to shine, just as God King is coming. He and Wei Suo's middle, along with the splendid light, are like a dazzling passage. He kept moving in the void, and Wei Suo was constantly being shaken back. Dang! Ka! The monster subduing tower was once again hit and flew out, with a broken surging sound. Annihilation God Spear's powerful energy is too terrifying, and the monster subduing tower has cracked and can't stop it. The two people's shapeshift great art is too fast, and it can explode so many attacks in a flash. Lin Taixu has curbed the favorive shapeshift great art of opponent. Shapeshift great art and golden core powerful energy are similar to each other, but Annihilation God Spear's powerful energy is too great. This person falls below. I am afraid it's going to fall. Many cultivators are blinking, and the Wei Suo secret place is not good enough. OM. At this time, the whole world was violently trembled again. Aponte great treasure was like a mountain, and the naked body was wrapped around the golden flame of the furnace. It was sacrificed by Lin Taixu, and the top of the stove was opened directly, and it was amazing. The golden divine fire is directly pressed down to Wei Suo. Heaven burning divine stove. This shapeshift great art great treasure is in the hands of Lin Taixu. Lin Taixu has spare time to sacrifice this shapeshift great art great treasure. This shapeshift great art great treasure comes out. This person must have no shapeshift great art to resist, and will soon fall. Dang! A surging sound, many people were scared, and the thoughts just flashed in their minds. The monster subduing tower was once again shot from Wei Suo, and the heaven burning divine stove was like a hot sun, constantly moving towards Wei Suo. Under the crackdown, Wei Suo was smashed and burned into fly ash. What happened? But at this time, all the cultivators saw that Lin Taixu's face was fierce, and the naked body was shocked. The spiritual chi on his body did not go out, some scattered, and shapeshift great art also appeared. Pause. The blue SE light that covers a few thousand feet is also broken because Lin Taixu's body is wrong. This miasma, ancient desolate by Ze. This thing is a shapeshift great art great treasure made with ancient desolate by Ze. This miasma is stained on the Annihilation God Spear and invades the naked body. Lin Taixu's naked body trembled, and the spirit light flashed in his mind, and it immediately responded. I saw the naked body between the tremors, a trace of white air. I do not know what he used shapeshift great art, all out. Chi. But at this moment, Wei Suo flashed in front of him and bloodied shapeshift great art knife, and he was once again rid of him. A red light brought up an unimaginable powerful energy that cut through the sky. Between the whole world, there was a very terrifying baleful aura, which made people feel shuddering. This powerful energy, more terrifying than Annihilation God Spear. Many cultivators have no shapeshift great art breath. This equate to be Kunpeng old ancestor is a great treasure that most chi and blood and true yun ignite the world's powerful energy. Many cultivators who know the blood of the shapeshift great art knife are extremely shocking. Lin Taixu's eyes, fierce great treasure. The naked body flies backwards, and both hands push forward in the void. Golden's heaven burning divine stove blocks in front. Dang! Heaven burning divine stove was directly punched out with a whole dong and flew out. Ka! The golden streamer of the Annihilation God Spear was also hit by the sky. Hong! Lin Taixu's golden core also emerged, blocking in the front. The unstoppable blood light finally broke, but the glare of Lin Taixu's golden core was also broken. The entire golden core, which is also very pleasing, is also unknown. And Lin Taixu they were all washed back and flew backwards. Pu. A blood squirted from the mouth of Lin Taixu. Like God King, Supreme's majestic Lin Taixu was beaten to vomit blood. Just enter the chapter content of the cloth. Path to Heaven. Author, Wu Ziyi. Chapter 682. Chapter 682 God of War Howler. Heaven burning divine stove has been hit by whole dong. Annihilation God spear is being beaten. Lin Taixu was beaten to vomit blood. Wei Suo volleyed, guarding Li Ziyi behind him, silver flashing, supreme power. Great treasure, how about? Wei Suo didn't chase, but he stood up with his hands and looked at Lin Taixu, who was bleeding and vomiting blood. He smiled lightly. Of course he wants to kill Lin Taixu in one fell swoop, but he knows that if he is chasing now, the remaining 11 great treasure cultivators will start immediately. Among the 11 great treasure cultivators, the weakest of divine ability is Han Yuer. Among the remaining mystic wind sect cultivators, true disciple, there are several golden core cultivators, but those who have just broken through to golden core, the golden core first layer cultivator, there is no shapeshift great art and 12 groups. Compared to Wei Suo's great treasure cultivator, it is not a grade. Although it is not possible to kill Lin Taixu with a single blow, Wei Suo can see that Lin Taixu has not been hit hard. There is no sharpshift great art. True Yuan is used violently. The current strength is estimated to have been reduced to Han Yuer. Controls annihilation God spear may not be able to control. In this way, when the use of Zhentian shapeshift great art and the people against the enemy, Wei Suo equivalent to has also cleared the obstacles of the most great treasure. Your cultivation base and this blood-feeding shapeshift great art knife are really good, but unfortunately do not know how to keep a low profile, and my mystic wind sect is the enemy, only one end, that is death. Lin Taixu naked body in the air to live, although be beaten vomiting blood, but his god Se, is still very calm, still with overlooking the world like the powerful, apparent his mind is matchless tenacity, not for a moment of victory and left, hand a recruit, will annihilation god spear received in front of the same time, Lin Taixu as god king trial tone, see your work shapeshift great art, as long as you wake up now, into my mystic wind sect, will repair work shapeshift great art all jiao out. I can spare your life, and can even keep your cultivation base. N. Wei Suo smiled and was waiting to speak, but his brow was a slight pick, turning his head and looking behind him. In the eyes of Lin Taixu, the god of surprise was also flashed. Feng Wukang, immediately, Lin Taixu spit out 3 words in his mouth. A group of glaucoma with the breath of Pang great treasure hangs from the clouds in the direction that Wei Suo sees. Lin Taixu, you mystic wind sect and true martial sect, can you just rely on more, win over, and how many people are bullying? Feng Wukang. Wei Suo's eyes are also flashing. The surprised god Se, the cultivator that came at this time, was wearing an ordinary green shapeshift great art, but the spiritual qi dang on his body glared at the treasure and terrifying atmosphere, faintly condense a giant great treasure of the green Se coral. The face of this cultivator is about 30 years old. The head is not trimmed and he is behind the head. His eyes are very vicissitudes. The gods on his face are unspeakable and determined. It is opposite to Lin Taixu. The secret place is transparent. One you with the will and edge of the great treasure. This cultivator is the true treasure of the Jade Heaven sect that Wei Suo has seen. Feng Wukang, this person's first impact on the golden core failed, the cultivation base was exhausted, and then it was recultivation, condensed into golden core, and last time with Dark North fighting revolution shapeshift great art at the same time against the enemy Lin Taixu and Su Xuanhuan, left a deep impression on Wei Suo. At that time, Feng Wukang's fascinating shapeshift great art could lead to countless astral origin qi, and Wei Suo was very coveted by this manpower shapeshift great art, and wanted to cooperate with cultivation. I don't think this person will appear at this time. The last time I saw Feng Wukang and Lin Taixu and Su Xuanhuan against the enemy, Fen Wuokang was the cultivation base of the golden core third layer, but now Fen Wuokang is more breathable than the last time, and it has already broken through. Cultivation base of golden core fourth layer. Fen Wuokang, what do you mean? Seeing that Fen Wuokang suddenly came down and said that, Lin Taixu's face was sinking, and he was cold. It doesn't mean anything, just feel unfair. Since you fight him separately with shapeshift great art and lose to him, even if he is not allowed to leave, he wants to deal with him. At least one more, now I want to embrace it, I can't see it. Fen Wuokang's body was blue and bright, watching Lin Taixu sneer. At this time, the last touch of the sunset has fallen, but the splendid light on the many shocking strong people is the incomparable smashing of the sky outside Netherworld City. Fen Wuokang, you last ate a loss in the hands of me and Xuanhuan, now want to get back to the game. Lin Taixu's face was completely yin, and his eyes were like two swords, nailed to Fen Wuokang. You can think so. Either you come one by one, or I don't see the past, you so many people, hit us too. Fen Wuokang did not retreat and stepped forward, Chi Flame by. Fen Wuokang, you were injured by me, it was SI people grievances, this person killed us two old ancestor, and this person threatened to kill Xuanhuan. If you block at this moment, it is equivalent to Jade Heaven sect declares war with us. Can you afford such a consequence? Lin Taixu glanced at Fen Wuokang and sneered, I can promise you. After waiting for this, I will give you a chance to fight with me. I will live and die. Do not bother. Fen Wuokang wants to say something more, but Wei Suo smiles and smiles at Fen Wuokang, thank you Feng fellow deist, but these people, I can solve it alone. And after today, he will not have the chance to fight with you alone. What? Wei Suo, as it comes out, it can be said that all cultivators are shaking. Even Fen Wuokang can't help but be amazed. Wei Suo's divine ability naturally, there is no doubt, but the surrounding cultivators are all great treasures of the world. Even the ordinary golden core great treasure cultivator can't enter this circle. So many great treasures can join forces. In the eyes of everyone, even if Fen Wuokang is added, there may not be a sure grasp, because facing a top powerhouse alone and facing multiple top powers at the same time is completely different. The addition of the 3 Lin Taixu may not kill the remaining 11 shocking powers. It seems that you are arrogant and dying. Lin Taixu doesn't say that Wei Suo is arrogant, just coldly looking at Wei Suo. I didn't do shapeshift great art. Since great treasure doesn't recognize me, then I only have great treasure anyway. I also think that great treasure is a bad thing, and today is also full of evil. Wei Suo smiled and said. Fen Wuokang, you also heard this person say, I advise you to stay away from this person, otherwise you will be squandered with the arrogant people who have no shapeshift great art. Lin Taixu looked at Fen Wuokang again and sneered. I am working with Fen Wuokang. Do you need your Lin Taixu instructor? Face Se is slightly pale, but Godlust is extremely determined. Fen Wuokang first out of a surging sound sneer, then turned to look at Wei Suo, do you really have the confidence to deal with them? There should be no problem. Wei Suo smiled lightly. Good. Fen Wuokang couldn't help but re-evaluate Wei Suo again, but he stopped talking, nodded and moved, but he swept away, obviously to watch the war. The arrogance is extreme. On the side of Lin Taixu, another one, wearing a white robe, Mystic Wind Sect old antique, a surging sound, has been stunned, and Chi Flame is coming soon. Wait a moment. But at this time, Wei Suo is very wretched and called a surging sound. What else do you have to say? Lin Taixu swept Wei Suo and said nothing. Under Wei Suo, some people call me domineering reverend. I don't know what the names are. What are the origins? If you have something to do with people I know, then when I start, I might leave some lust. Wei Suo glanced at the other powerful players besides Lin Taixu. Is he kidding? Does he really have such a great treasure? Can he deal with so many great treasure cultivators? Wei Suo's words, but also many cultivators stunned. I feel that this person is so mad that there is no side. Well, I will tell you my name, and save you from knowing who you are in guarding all. Tuan will Weisuo surrounded by the strong, although have seen Weisuo's divine ability, but now hear Weisuo's words, many still angry fuming, one wearing red robe, body a red se spiritual chi condense a very fierce red se tianma of the middle-aged rugged cultivator, suddenly out of the low surging sound roar, I am the Hongshan Day main reverend. Under the old Xuanhuan. Under Rhine Reverend. Under Mystic Wind Sect Coca. Jian Lingzong Jin Wing Reverend. Fearless Heavenly Palace Chenzuang. A surging sound Dang screams at the colding killing intense surging sound, which is remembered between heaven and earth. These shocking strong people have already prepared for the shot, so when they are surging sound, the body is full of pressure, all of which are chi flame. It gives people a kind of bombardment, the momentum of the landing of the great treasure mountain. Fearless Heavenly Palace, this is also a great treasure when the Lazy Eye was killed, there was a great treasure cultivator of Fearless Heavenly Palace. It seems that Fearless Heavenly Palace has also joined forces with Mystic Wind section. Weisuo's secret place in the middle of these strong people, it is like a secret place in the madness of a leaf xiao boat, will be overwhelmed at any time, but the god se on his face is not the slightest change, just a slight flash of vision. The reason why he specifically asked these people's names, of course, is not the same as he said, but he wants to stay in the shapeshift great art, but because he sees that many of these cultivators are not Mystic Wind section inside the cultivator. Since it is against these cultivators, if you kill these cultivators, Weisuo must know at least the background behind these cultivators, and then you can know which enemies are more. According to the current lust shape, in addition to getting into the two levels of the great treasures of Mystic Wind sect and True Martial sect, it is inevitable that you will get a level of great treasure like Fearless Heavenly Palace. OM. In the hands of Lin Taixu, Origin Chi was shocked and began to reveal the mysterious light lines of countless green se Weisuo. If you regret now, beg for mercy, you still have time. Really? Weisuo reached out and the white candle's water candle monster core rose directly from his hands. Hong. The endless water spirit Yuan Chi emerged from his body, instantly condensed a giant treasure of the water emperor above his head, and swallowed the white candle's water candle monster core. Almost at the same time, a giant treasure of the golden core sunlight, from his heart arteries, poured into a black sedging gold Xiren naked body appeared in front of him. Boom! The whole world seems to be suddenly hit by a huge giant treasure, a behind the head with a giant great treasure black secd, such as the same round of black se sun, the foot of the terrifying shapeshift great art with numerous auras, condensed between heaven and earth. Shapeshift great art the atmosphere of the body, formed a giant great treasure black se straight fire beacon, straight into the sky, all the mist above, all worn by Dong. An unimaginable pangret treasure and fighting intent, shaking heaven's dome, a roar, like an ancient god of war, out of the roar of destroying the heavens and exterminating the earth. In the face of such pressure, Lin Taixu's face changed. Path to Heaven. Author, Wu Ziyi. Chapter 683. Chapter 683 Real to die with the remaining grievance. The town of shapeshift great art, standing in the sky, behind the head giant great treasure black secd, such as the same round of black sun, the numerous auras under the feet, like water flowing, not the general cultivator can imagine. The armor on his body now looks extremely heavy, simple, and has a strong conquest. There seems to be nothing to wear. Before a finger, it seems that even if there is a Buddha in front, it is difficult to stop it. One finger, it seems that the heavens and the earth can be opened with one hand. Weisuo's naked body, located in the heart of the shapeshift great art, is like the heart of the shapeshift great art. It violently spurs Origin Chi. Do you know what this is? Shapeshift great art, a great treasure cultivator wearing a colorful glow on the west side of the town, is also extremely amazing. Just before Weisuo just took out the water candle monster core, the great treasure cultivator appeared in front of him. A full moon-like radiance, chi flame. But at this moment, the Tian shapeshift great art appeared at once, and his naked body was a fierce shake. The light in front of him was almost directly unable to control and collapsed. Is it divine mystic shapeshift great art? Impossible, he can't be divine mystic realm cultivator. How can it be possible to get divine mystic shapeshift great art? What shapeshift great art great treasure, with such a terrifying pressure, is immortal artifact? Not good, this kind of pressure is too terrifying, and the heart is bursting. At this moment, many cultivators are falling out of the cockroaches. Some cultivators are far away from the cultivator. They are unable to withstand the pressure of the shapeshift great art. They sighed and spurted out a blood. Even Feng Wuokang, who stood in the sky behind the scenes, completely changed his face. Origin Chi, like Chao water, gathers toward the town of shapeshift great art. The ingenious killing intent, the great will of Pang great treasure, makes all cultivators feel like a cold winter. Pu. The numerous divine marks that Lin Taixu has in hand are directly shattered by the pressure and terrifying breath of the Tianpeng shapeshift great art. Origin Chi continues to revolve around the town of shapeshift great art around the body, the light of the corner of the shapeshift great art, infinite expansion, as if the world is stepping on the crack. Including Lin Taixu, all the stunning great treasure cultivators around, all of them were shocked and sternly shouted. This thing is too powerful energy, too fast to kill him. Quickly stop him from continuing to excite this thing. Kill him, or we are in danger of falling. All of these cultivators, at the moment, feel the tremor of the heart, full of the danger of corruption. All these amazing great treasure cultivators, all attacked at this moment. Hong. Among the squats of a great treasure cultivator, suddenly spurred countless Jing blood, turned into a purple-black say with a huge great treasure, covering the sky above. The upper heaven, origin chi, seems to have been suppressed. Nice. Kill him. A great treasure cultivator wearing a gold robes was amazed and had a surging sound great treasure. The attacks of so many great treasure cultivators have produced a terrifying KO. With Weisuo as the center, all the air is exploding. Township shapeshift great art seems to be collapsed and scattered. Boom. But at this moment, the heavens and the earth vibrate, and it is incomparable to the town of shapeshift great art of Pangret treasure, which moves up and steps forward in the forward direction. Just step by step, the brilliance in front of the town of shapeshift great art, all collapsed. It seems that the action of this township shapeshift great art does not seem to be fast, but only one step, this township shapeshift great art has crossed the net formed by the radiance, pa. The giant great treasure fell behind the town of shapeshift great art, just stepping out again, all the brilliance in front of him in front of the white robes of mystic wind sect old antique collapsed. Directly shot and flew out, body naked body is divided. Another mystic wind sect old antique character is fallen. Boom. A giant great treasure's black shapeshift great art great treasure scatters the black flames of the sky, directly from the void, hitting the back of the town's shapeshift great art. Even if it is the real immortal artifact, with his cultivation base and no shapeshift great art, all of us are enough to kill him. Seeing such a sight, many great treasure cultivators drink at the same time great treasure. But the breathing of these people almost stopped at the same time. This black se boyu shaped shapeshift great art great treasure powerful energy monstrous, covered with countless quaint rune, full of 4 or 5 feet great treasure xiao, obviously at least mystic evil mid-level powerful energy, and space-type shapeshift great art great treasure, directly behind Weisuo is not enough time to respond, but all these ultivator is to see, black se boyu hit the instant, the town day shapeshift great art phase of a palm, unexpectedly is backhand come. Hold in the back, blocking the blow. Even the golden core cultivator of the golden core 5th layer didn't have time to react like this, but at this moment Wei Suo actually blocked such a blow. Hey! The giant hand of the town of shapeshift great art crossed in the void, with an unspeakable trajectory. It turned out to be like a passing waterfall, the heaven's origin chi condensed countless light lines. This black say was actually directly beaten, collapsed, and scattered in the void. Pu. At the same time, spirit light outside a great treasure cultivator was shattered by the light of another hand, and then flew out, and the blood in his mouth was mad, and he was not known. Don't panic. We are gathered in a secret place. Lin Taixu's eyes were extremely shocking, and he did not hesitate to hurt. He forced the Annihilation God Spear, but he was defeated and directly thrown behind by Tian Tian shapeshift great art. Death, 5 or 6 great treasure cultivators at the same time spiritual chi tumbling, gathered in front of the town of shapeshift great art, the powerful energy, formed an unimaginable light column, rushed to the town of shapeshift great art. However, the strong great treasure of this township shapeshift great art came out with their imagination. In the lust with enough true UN and golden core powerful energy support, this township shapeshift great art is not a powerful energy. Immortal artifact, and just to a divine mystic shapeshift great art. Like a legendary Van Gogh giant, divine mystic great treasure can come in person. Wei Suo's silver set divine splendor is dazzling, and countless pirate treasures origin chi vomits, the gods on his face are no waves, the whole person is shrouded in a layer of sacred brilliance, like a god. At this moment, it is merged with the town of shapeshift great art. The Tian Tian shapeshift great art is him. He is the Tian Tian shapeshift great art. In his eyes, he is filled with countless mysterious trajectories that he can't usually see. The actions of attacking one by one are constantly flashing in his mind. His divine consciousness, incomparably broad, enveloped all of these cultivators, and time seemed to solidify. The reactions and movements of these cultivators were very slow relative to him. Just one step, he avoided the 5 or 6 great treasure cultivators and joined forces to cross the void and bully to the front of a great treasure cultivator. The red spiritual chi of this person rolled over to form the shape of a violent red se Pegasus, which was the first Scorpio reverend to tell Wei Suo. This person is also the cultivation base of the golden core 3rd layer initial stage, which is already in the position of the entire cultivation world. At this moment, he saw the town of shapeshift great art in front of him. He suddenly became extremely stunned, and his hands seemed to be showing what shapeshift great art was going to do while fleeing. But it is like the ancient god king god of war, the town of shapeshift great art is one stroke ahead, and a surging sound bursts, bringing out countless mysterious light patterns. Ah! The stunning great treasure cultivator great treasure called, his own naked body was squeezed by the unmatched powerful energy, and there was no shapeshift great art at all, just like a fly was wrapped in amber. Can't move. Pa. Just touching the edge of the light, this character is close to the mystic wind sect antique great treasure cultivator, all the spirit light outside, all cracked. Pu subsequently, his fleshly body flew backwards, all collapsed and scattered. Wei Suo walked in the void, and the town's shapeshift great art was scattered with the heaven-shaking killing intent, and his hands kept making movements, drawing a mysterious trajectory in the air. All the people were shocked, and all of them were trembled and sweating, and they could hardly believe that so many golden core great treasure cultivators actually blocked Wei Suo. To know that these 12 people joined forces to kill Wei Suo's, they are all shocking powers of the world, the characters of the tyrants, the entire heavenly profound continent, there are not many people who can stand side by side with them. If you can tell me about the Buddha nature holy fruit, I can put you in a way. Wei Suo's very calm surging sound suddenly rang. No, great treasure, if Han Wei is here right now, if you hear the words of Wei Suo, I am afraid I will suddenly turn a blind eye, and I am so depressed that it is such a surging sound. When is this all the time, actually still asking about Buddha nature holy fruit, which is too out of date, too ridiculous. But so many cultivators on the scene, but one is not funny. Kill Li Ziyi and limit his actions, otherwise we will all die in his hands. A gnome cultivator, screaming out of a surging sound, screaming at Li Ziyi, who was on the ground beneath Wei Suo. This gnome cultivator is the elder brother of the 3 murderers in the north. With me here, who can kill him? But this gnome cultivator is almost just surging sound, and the town of shapeshift great art step by step, but it is already behind this gnome. Ah, the old Xuanhuan is incomparably stunned, and there are countless brilliances in his body. The whole body, naked body, seems to disappear from the air, and it is hidden in the void. In the face of the battle of the Tian shapeshift great art, the fiercely famous great treasure cultivator did not dare to fight any more, directly applied supreme secret shapeshift great art, and sneaked into the void. Pa! But there is no gushing at all. I saw that the hand of the townshift great art is still drawn forward, and a surging sound, like the heavens and the earth are being cracked in general. Xuanhuan is shocking, and the short-lived body of the old Xuanhuan is naked. The body was hid from the void. There was no sigh of breath, and I didn't know how many times I was beaten. Lin Taixu, do you know where to get Buddha nature holy fruit? If you don't know, you can only fall to this place. A single blow will kill the old Xuanhuan. Wei Suo's eyes, staring at Lin Taixu on the other side of the void, almost between the fingers. The Tian shapeshift great art has already arrived in front of Lin Taixu. Don't die together. Lin Taixu's annihilation god spear's blow was lost and fell behind the town of shapeshift great art. His face is very pale, but in the head, it is shining with countless terrifying flames, and a piece of fine square light is constantly broken. Obviously he wants to blue himself to golden core and fight with Wei Suo. Hey! But the action of Zhentian shapeshift great art is beyond his imagination. His shapeshift great art, at the moment Wei Suo's eyes, is very slow. At this moment, Lin Taixu just saw Wei Suo look at himself, and the Tian shapeshift great art was no longer in front of him, but instead came to Li Ziyi. Ah! Lin Taixu has a surging sound, and there are countless flames on his body. He has blew the golden core, and the golden core powerful energy has now exploded. When the golden core blew, Wei Suo was in front of him, but now the golden core blew up, but the other party has already gone. His self-destructive golden core, a bomb is a pack of air. And the golden core has exploded, and he hasn't done any shapeshift great art. To die with the remaining grievance. The mood of this Lin Taixu can be said to be true, to die with the remaining grievance. Hong, the unrivaled powerful energy exploded, and Lin Taixu's naked body was turned into fly ash, turning into a terrifying flame that expanded outwards with amazing degrees. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Path to Heaven. Author, Wu Ziyi. Chapter 684. Chapter 684 Holy Fruit Message. Wei Suo Tru Yuan wrapped in Li Ziyi, the town of shapeshift great art in the air to step out of the mysterious trajectory. The terrifying flame that devours the golden core fourth layer's golden core explosion even annihilates a golden core great treasure cultivator that has no time to retreat, directly destroying the fly ash. However, the power of this kind of giant treasure is not impacted on the body of the shapeshift great art. The degree of the shapeshift great art is unimaginable. Lin Taixu turned out to be. All the people trembled and couldn't believe the sight. Mystic Wind sect, under the tens of thousands of people, the great treasure disciple, was killed by Wei Suo. Previously, I looked down on Wei Suo because Wei Suo was not angry with Han Yuer, and the great treasure brain was almost blank. She didn't even think that Wei Suo's divine ability had already reached great treasure. Plus Lin Taixu, just a moment's time, there have been 5 stunning great treasure cultivators, Wei Suo's divine might, no shapeshift great art in words. You, if you don't want to die, you will kill this person. This powerful energy is so great, even the cultivation base of the golden core fifth layer is not likely to last. Mystic Wind sect old antique, with its Milky Way, was bloody red. Mystic Wind sect and his old antique cultivator of the same era, there are only 6 in itself. This time Mystic Wind sect is due to the change of heavenly profound continent northern part, full of 4 old antiques. These 4 old antique, in dozens it was possible to run rampant years ago, but only for a moment. The 4 old antiques have been degraded and only one person left. The torrent of heaven and earth, hundreds of years, did not annihilate them, at this moment turned out to be one of the hands of such a young cultivator. Hong. The spiritual chi on a green gown of the great treasure cultivator was all exhausted in an instant, while the sky above it was dark. The splendid light of a group of dark green se was suppressed, but it was an irregular appearance, like a piece of ordinary dark green sedging gold block, but the naked body is a strange shape-shift great art great treasure full of fluttering days envy shape rune. This odd shape-shift great art great treasure is only a fist-like great treasure xiao, but it is a fierce explosion in the air above the Weisuo. It is obvious that this green-robe great treasure cultivator exhausted the body of True Yuan to sacrifice a shape-shift great art great treasure. Evil King Dark Box. This thing is ancient evil kings to great treasure. Not only powerful energy reaches mystic rank high grade, but also enhances the absorption of yin. For the cultivator of culture yin, sharp qigong, shapeshift great art, it is amazing to great treasure, and can be great treasure to enhance cultivation degree. Young fellow, don't. At the same time as the shapeshift great art great treasure, the green-robed old man's surging sound, which has been silent for a long time, rang again. He is now complete. He wants to call Weisuo, don't break this shapeshift great art great treasure, because this shapeshift great art great treasure is rare for Yin Liwa to great treasure, and great treasure can enhance Yin Liwa's degree of culture. But when his words were not finished, they stopped automatically. Because Weisuo at the moment, there is no intention to touch this shapeshift great art great treasure. At the time of this shapeshift great art great treasure, the town of shapeshift great art has reached the front of the green gown of the great treasure cultivator. This irregular, dark green sedging gold block shapeshift great art great treasure, is also an empty hit. Ah! With a surging sound, the screaming surging sound of the green gown, the blaze of a green se, seems to be directly trying to escape with a shape possession of a certain kind of body possession. Pu. However, Weisuo's hand is just a stroke. The town's shapeshift great art does the same thing. The light pattern of the strip directly scatters the fleshly body of the green treasure cultivator and the green se flame from the mouth. Then the giant palm of the Tian shapeshift great art was just past the position of the secret place of the green treasure giant cultivator naked body, and everything was turned into fly ash. Ah! There is also a great treasure cultivator wearing a black robe. It is the only surviving reverend of the 3 murderers in Tianbei. All the black light in front of him collapsed and flew out. He was the only one who had a black axe shapeshift great art great treasure, and wanted to sneak Weisuo from the rear, but the Tian shapeshift great art waved with one hand and brought him a powerful energy. The black se axe that was sacrificed was smashed. In the sky, a bronze shapeshift great art with golden core sunlight instantly changed into a great treasure, which is like a Xiao mountain. It is obviously a shock shift great art great treasure of a great treasure cultivator cultivation. Dang! But this giant great treasure, such as the bronze shapeshift great art, was beaten by the Tian shapeshift great art, and all the spirit lights on it were extinguished instantly. Pu a spirit light condense on a body, a great treasure cultivator with giant great treasure golden wings, and a naked body with a shocked body, bleeding from the nose and mouth. Hard to fight this note. Zhentian shapeshift great art is also a violent shock, but Weisuo still shines silver set divine splendor, countless origin chi violent spit, such as the same ancient behemoth violently breathing. True Yuan simply does not show signs of exhaustion. Not at all comparable to his shapeshift great art. His shapeshift great art degree and reaction is more than twice as fast as ours. He is not immortal artifact that is not completely powerful energy. His current divine ability is infinitely close to a real divine mystic great treasure. We are like an enemy of a real divine mystic great treasure. Come on. Otherwise, all must fall here. All the cultivators present saw the clues, and all the giant treasure cultivators of Weisuos were killed. All of them had retired, and they turned into a stream of light, fleeing in all directions. A purple SC's spirit light, the most amazing, like annihilation god spear, the eye-catching almost no shapeshift great art. However, Zhentian shapeshift great art is the first to follow the purple light spirit light. With Weisuo's hands swiping, Zhentian shapeshift great art's hands bring out a strip of light, just like re-engraving the world. Orderly, this purple spirit light is squeezed by the powerful energy of Pangret treasure. It was a pale cultivator with a white face and a white robes. I am willing to jiao out this man shapeshift great art, then you will not die. The giant palm of the town's shapeshift great art was pressed against the grey treasure cultivator fixed in the void, and Weisuo's calm surging sound was heard. I am willing to go out this man shapeshift great art. This great treasure cultivator wearing white Xuanhuan robes has a violent screaming surging sound. Pa! The giant palm of the town of shapeshift great art was gently pressed. The great treasure cultivator wearing a brocade robe was bloody and swallowed by Weisuo. Without the slightest stop, it seems that only 2 steps in the air, the township shapeshift great art is behind a great treasure cultivator. This great treasure cultivator, a surging sound great treasure, has a variety of brilliance and rushes to the town of shapeshift great art. But at this time, the great treasure cultivator alone, compared to the powerful energy of shapeshift great art and Zhentian shapeshift great art, the pa of a surging sound, all these brilliances were shattered, the naked body of the great treasure cultivator was beaten apart. Boom! 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 After the shapeshift great art crossed the void, after killing the great treasure cultivator, Weisuo was 2,000 feet away from the rest of the 3 escape lights, but the township shapeshift great art stepped out every step of the way. The distance from an escape light. Ah! Just in the twinkling of an eye, the man was wrapped in silver, and the only old antique in the 4 old antiques of Mystic Wind sect was just enough to have a surging sound scream, and it was fixed by the powerless energy behind. In the void, the entire body was crushed and crushed. Do not kill me, I know the news of Buddha nature holy fruit. Weisuo didn't stop and continued to chase the other blue sea's cape light. It was 2,000 feet away. The cultivator in the escape light was already locked by divine consciousness, and the naked body was trembled. Sound is called surging sound. This cultivator, which was very proud of the name, was like a princess who looked down on civilians, and some looked down on Weisuo's Xuanhuan. Weisuo didn't have any thoughts about pity and sorrow. He wanted to kill the great treasure cultivator that might threaten himself in the future, but at the moment he heard the words of Xuanhuan, Weisuo's brow was one hop, Zhentian shapeshift great art paused. Between this pause, the other remaining escape light is already far away. The shock of, under the eyes flash, Weisuo is to take up the town of shapeshift great art, standing in front of Xuanhuan's secret place. The water candle monster core above his head, at the moment the great treasure is about a third of the previous great treasure xiao. This stop, Weisuo reached out, but the entire water candle monster core and the township shapeshift great art were all collected. In the process, Xuanhuan also completely stopped, did not dare to have any movements, the naked body kept shaking, and the face no longer saw the pride of the high, no blood. Do you know about the Buddha nature holy fruit? Weisuo looked at the envy indifferently and asked. I heard that Cloud Spirit Continent has a great treasure, planted with Buddha nature holy fruit, although she received the shapeshift great art, but Weisuo's figure, in the eyes of Xuanhuan, it is an incomparably high great treasure, which keeps her heart tremble. What kind of man, Wei Suo's eyes flashed with blazing light. Cloud Spirit Continent's Zongmen? That's not the right thing, we are going to Cloud Spirit Continent, just to get Buddha Nature Holy Fruit. Green-robed old man is also very excited. The higher the Wei Suo's cultivation base, the more amazing the divine ability, and the more successful he will be in the future. What kind of brand is Naked Body, I don't know. I only know that this man has an old ancestor who has exchanged a Buddha Nature Holy Fruit from that man Jiao. But with the Naked Body, I don't know. Han Yuer said. Which is the naked body? This is used to change your life is too worthless. Wei Suo suddenly sinks a face and sneers a surging sound. Han Yuer biting his mouth, can't speak, his face is pale, and his heart can't tell the humiliation. Her sister and I have some Jiao lust, this fellow deist, can you look at my share and let her go alive? Anyway, looking at her, I really don't know. At this time, Feng Wukang's surging sound was transmitted from the sky behind. You go. But if I am enemies with me next time, I will not leave lust. Wei Suo didn't have any nonsense and nodded directly to Han Yuer. Path to Heaven. Author, Wu Ziyi. Chapter 685. Chapter 685 Celestial Emperor Falling Star Records. Han Yuer is humiliated, but she is full of enthusiasm, and she is the most cultivator. When it is the most cultivator, it is more cherished than the cultivator. So at the moment, when we heard Wei Suo, this name is also very high in the mystic wind section. It is also a dare to say nothing, silently turned into a blue se stream, away from Netherworld City. Lin Taixu fallen, my true wind sect for real old antiques have also fallen. So many great treasure cultivators are killed, but they are almost completely killed. Within a few thousand miles, all the cultivators of Mystic Wind Sect and the cultivators that were dispatched by Mystic Wind Sect were all desperately fleeing. All the clouds in all directions were rushing, like a meteor. Lin Taixu and Mystic Wind Sect old antique level characters are the strongest in today's repairing world, and Lin Taixu and others are not ordinary rogue cultivators, and they all have the power of the sky. The death of so many great treasure cultivators, which was killed by a rogue cultivator and only the rogue cultivator of the Golden Core stage, is simply unimaginable and will surely cause the whole Tianxian great treasure to smash the road. Although great treasure chopper Wei Suo's divine might, the world is astounding, this battle is destined to become a legendary book that is included in the repairing world. Thanks to fellow deist Wei for selling my lust, but fellow deist Wei is really just a rogue cultivator around Spirit Peak City. Feng Wukang, who was in Xingyi, came from the rear of the void, although the eyes were very shocking, but the breath of his body was still very stable. Obviously the mind was extremely tough, and was not intimidated by Wei Suo's divine might. Feng Wukang, this person, facing Lin Taixu and Su Qianhuan on the same day, did not give in, fighting intent heaven shaking, and his heart is so strong great treasure, he will certainly achieve extraordinary achievements. Feng fellow deist, needless to say, it just happened to get some luck in Qingcheng ruins, it is indeed a rogue cultivator. Wei Suo sat down with a sentence. Feng Wukang, this person does not feel bad to him, it seems to be able to Qiao, but after all, there is no Qiao lust that can be trusted, of course, cannot reveal any old. I can't think of Lin Taixu's generation of Tian Xiao, but it is directly down here. Feng Wukang nodded and sighed with a surging sound. True martial sect Su Qianhuan, has it really fallen into your hands? Yes, he and Bai Yu Reverend held a few of my friends, and I showed up and I was killed. Wei Suo said directly. Fellow deist Wei, do you want to secret place some things, and then talk to me slowly? Feng Wukang has no nonsense. He took a look at the great treasure cultivator wearing white Yunjin robes, which was photographed by Wei Suo. Yeah, I have something to do, lust want to talk to Feng fellow deist. Wei Suo didn't have any nonsense. After saying this to Feng Wukang, his eyes stayed in front of the great treasure cultivator wearing white Yunjin robes. Jiao out your men's shapeshift great art. The great treasure cultivator wearing a white Se Yunjin robes was pressed by Wei Suo's divine consciousness pressure and spit out a blood. But he didn't dare to have any words at all. He took Wei Suo's note in front of him, and forced Xuanhuan to record his own amazing shapeshift great art. Go. Don't stay in the heavenly great treasure northern part. Wei Suo took the record of the great treasure cultivator, and after divine consciousness swept it, Xuanhuan rolled out the treasure receiving pocket on the great treasure cultivator and put the great treasure cultivator far thrown out. After the great treasure cultivator was thrown out, he did not dare to have any stops, swaying and fleeing this secret place. Then Wei Suo divine consciousness let go, mystic fiend ghost claw rushed out and kept going down. Annihilation god spear, evil king dark box, a corpse with a great treasure cultivator, a broken shapeshift great art device that fell to the ground, and a treasure receiving pocket, all captured by Wei Suo and collected. The powerful energy of the township shapeshift great art is extremely strong, and among the 10 great treasure cultivators killed by Wei Suo, except Lin Taixu blew the golden core, even the body. Treasure receiving pocket is also turned into fly ash. The rest of the great treasure cultivator's body and the great treasure are mostly crushed, but the golden core of these great treasure cultivators, in addition to Lin Taixu and the mouth sneeze out of the green flame, the rest of the great treasure cultivator was preserved, and Wei Suo received a total of 8 golden cores. These great treasure cultivators, the rest of the great treasure, the opponent's shapeshift great art great treasure, are also broken by the town of shapeshift great art, but annihilation god spear and evil king dark box and other pieces of ancient shapeshift great art great treasure, tire the naked body was very tough, but it was not damaged in the great treasure battle of this day, all falling into the hands of Wei Suo's. Wei Suo's previously awkward heaven burning divine stove was beaten by a great treasure dong, divine light was lost, there is no shapeshift great art controls, but Wei Suo was the most valued material, and it is only the material of this golden furnace, so the golden furnace that lost spirit light was also included in the storage bracelet by Wei Suo. Let's go. Collapse of heaven shaking. After so many great treasures for the cultivator on the battlefield, Wei Suo fell into the valley where the phoenix eagle was previously placed, and woke up the mystic who sealed qi and blood by his Xuanhuan. Wind sect brother-in-law. The mystic wind sect brother-in-law woke up at this moment. The great treasure battle had completely ended, but saw Wei Suo safe and sound, felt within a few thousand miles. Various kinds of great treasures shapeshift great art and shapeshift great art great the remnant of treasure. The mystic wind sect brother-in-law is also full of tremors, guessing what might have been born. Let Feng fellow deist wait a long time. After letting go of this name mystic wind sect, Wei Suo released mind devouring bug, letting her control the phoenix green eagle, and plucked into the quiet, standing in the void, watching him do all this. Feng Wukang before. He and you are very jealous. Look at what he looks like to you. You saved him not just for lightning waning moon. Lizai, Feng Wukang, who was placed next to Wei Suo by her eyes, was in the eyes of Wei Suo's ear. He saved me. Before I was with him, I did have a famous jealust. He was a god, and he regarded himself as a rabbit and regarded me as his brother. Wei Suo can't hide. Sound transmission to Feng Wukang. Oh. So what are the plans for next deist Wei? Is it with him to leave, or to explore the netherworld palace secret place? Feng Wukang took a look at the city behind Wei Suo's incomparable Pang great treasure. Since this secret place is reached, it is natural to explore the netherworld palace secret place. Wei Suo smiled lightly and said, maybe mystic wind sect master, unless it happens to be in the territory of the heavenly great treasure, otherwise it should not be so fast. I should have enough time to leave. I have the exact news. Mystic wind sect master will definitely not be in the territory of the heavenly great treasure, even if he wants to be in Rive in person, within a dozen hours, he will never catch Netherworld City. Feng Wukang looked at Wei Suo and said very directly, just if I said that I would also like to explore the Netherworld Palace secret place, I don't know what fellow deist Wei wants shapeshift great art. I am willing to join hands with me. Exploring, or let me enter Netherworld City. Do you want to fight with me? Anyway, your water candle monster core can still support for a while, young fellow. If you kill him, or if you don't grab him, ask the Mendar North Fighting Revolution, burning great shape. Green-robed old man immediately woke up in Wei Suo's ear, like a murderous maniac. Feng fellow deist, you speak very directly, or do we talk about conditions first? Under Wei Suo eyes flash, I said it. Talking about conditions. Oh. Try me. Feng Wukang seems to appreciate the straightforward attitude of Wei Suo, and I am very interested in watching Wei Suo. I am willing to join the Feng fellow deist to explore the Netherworld Palace secret place. If there is a current shapeshift great art, we will share it. But I am also very interested in Feng fellow deist's Dark North Fighting Revolution shapeshift great art. I don't know if Feng fellow deist can pass this shapeshift great art to me. Wei Suo asked for the surging sound. Se want this my skill shapeshift great art. Feng Wukang glimpsed a little, and suddenly there were many amazing gods in his eyes. He cannot help but see Wei Suo one eye, not immediately answer, and Shenyan after a while, but is smiled. Wei, to tell the truth, we Jade Heaven sect this men great art originated from a shapeshift menancient. The remainder, ancient 10 great the shapeshift of treasure, is deduced from the remainder of the celestial emperor falling star records, one of art, although the power is unmatched by other Heave N level top ranks attack technique shapeshift great art, but every time, it is to burn their own many chi and blood, great treasure life essence, every time the display, equivalent to the loss of years of painstaking cultivation, 10 years life essence. Are you sure you want this men shapeshift great art? This shapeshift great art is actually derived from Celestial Emperor Falling Star Records. Celestial Emperor Falling Star Records is indeed the shapeshift great art of ancient 10 great treasure, the top attack of shapeshift great art, which can lead to astral origin chi for 9 days. It is said that divine mystic great treasure can display and even condense a shapeshift great art. It is also derived from the ancient scripture, not the complete celestial emperor falling star, so it will cause great treasure damage to the shapeshift great art itself. Wei Suo is also a deep breath, he just saw it with his own eyes. The shapeshift great art is extraordinary. Even Lin Taixu and Su Jianhuan joined forces on the same day. Feng Wukang was injured by this man, shapeshift great art, but he also I didn't even think that this shapeshift great art had such a history. Although this shapeshift great art has such defects, I still want to get it. After taking a deep breath, Wei Suo said firmly, Feng Wukang said. If you can get the shapeshift great art of lightning waning moon, I will give you this shapeshift great art. It is not a loss, but if you don't get the lightning waning moon level of shapeshift great art, it is too bad. I'm a shapeshift great art. It's also my Jade Heaven sex cannot be passed on secret. It's only available to my brother-in-law. I pass it to you. It's also a violation of the men's rules. If you don't get a good secret place for other great treasures, then I am sure that Jiao will not be able to pass. Feng Wukang touched his chin and said. If you don't get lightning waning moon, don't know that Feng fellow deist can have other conditions to change the shapeshift great art. Wei Suo's eyes flickered for a moment, asked. If I want the angle shift great art of annihilation golden core, I don't know if fellow deist can agree. I heard that fellow deist has used a lot of annihilation golden core, presumably knowing the refining side of the annihilation golden core, shapeshift great art. Feng Wukang thought about it and looked at Wei Suo.